This is a request by Ms. Harris for, well, are you settled there, Mr. Benbo?
Just trying to have that light not so bright in the back there.
Thank you. That's helpful. I can see you then, not the light. All right. So Ms. Harris is asking the court to consider issuing an order against you, Mr. Benbo. I see that you were served on July 15th and just reviewing the things that I reviewed before. So you got the petition that was filed, which is all the information that Ms. Harris has told the court that caused us to set this hearing. And then obviously, you're here. Looks like you got this declaration from this. Get it open so I remember from Mr. Walden. Okay, so first off, Ms. Harris, this is the day to consider your request. We're going to hear from both sides if we do that, but I'm wondering, first off, are you still asking for this order against Mr. Benbo?
It was suggested because of the ongoing issues that I've been having with my phone, and now it's
you
my
want this
phone.
order though? It's up to you.
For my protection, yes, I do.
Okay.
I thought this would stop, but it hasn't stopped.
Slow down. I'm just trying to get where we are today. So, Mr. Benbo, there's not an order issued yet. We're going to consider that. Do you have an objection to the court issuing an order on Ms. Harris's behalf?
I more so have an issue with the potential.
Yes or no? It's a yes or no, and then we'll get into the guts of it.
Yes.
Okay, now we know where we're headed. Sometimes you never know. So, and then Ms. Harris, you're ready to go today. You've got everything provided to the court, and you're ready to testify.
Right.
Okay, so you're not going to be saying, "Whoops, I should have had another witness or some more information."
I tried to, but they're not available. They're on vacation.
Okay, so but you're ready to go today.
Yes.
Okay, and then Mr. Benbo, you're ready to go today. You've got everything that you're wanting the court to consider. You're going to just tell me.
Well, I mean, this is all still brand fresh, new to me. This information, so I'm kind of showing up today to hear what this is about as well. I do have my son available to speak to because he was present for when Miss Harris showed up at my when she came by my house recently, and so
okay.
But besides that, I don't have anything else.
Okay, and so there wouldn't be anything else even if we set this over another day for you. You're ready to go.
I guess it would depends on how serious this gets or whatnot. I mean, I may.
Let's talk about what this means. What this request is a restraining order, a protection order, a no contact order. It's all the same kind of terminology, but sometimes it's confusing to people that, it's just an order. It's a request by Ms. Harris and the provisions we would certainly talk about if we got into this hearing today and if it was ordered. But I would hear from Ms. Harris under oath. I would hear from you. And then I'd make a decision based on the anti-harassment laws under RSW 1014. Now, let's say this court does issue an order on behalf of Ms. Harris against you. A violation of that can cause you to be arrested and put in custody. It would be a criminal offense. That's how serious this is. And that's why I'm always wanting to be sure that people aren't just showing up to see what happens, because once we start this hearing, it's too late then to say, oh, hearing from the other side, I should have gotten this information to the judge. I should have gotten this witness to the judge. I want to be sure that everybody's ready to present their evidence today, because this is the day. It's not just to see what happens. And so you were served in enough time, and these things happen fast. And so there's a reason for that. We want to get to the matters quickly for people's needs, but that's why I always ask. And so I'm wondering, with all that, are you ready to go to this hearing today?
Well, when you mentioned about hearing from another witness, like I said, my son is here, but I don't know, is there any formalities I need to do in order to have him speak?
How old is he?
He's 20.
Okay. Well, all right. So so you're ready to go today, or are you asking to continue this? So I'm looking in your eyes and you look hesitant. That's why I'm asking that.
Well, because the severity, I have no issue with maintaining this ongoing. I haven't had any contact with Ms. Harris for years, except for when she showed up.
Severity won't change.
I have no problem with maintaining the without contact. It's just some of the stuff outlined in here that could be a consequence against me if this is granted. I'm concerned for that. All the different allegations in here and stuff. I wouldn't want that attached to me.
So what does that tell me? Does that tell me you're ready to go today, or is there something else that you want to do? Are you asking for a continuance so that you can be prepared? I don't know what you're asking.
I hear you. I think so. If I could say at this point, I would probably be okay. But then somewhere, if it seems like this was, I may need to get a continuance.
If it's going sideways, if you're thinking it's going sideways, that would, we'd be in the midst of the hearing. It'd be too late for you to make a different decision about other evidence to present to the court. So now is the time to tell the court whether you think you're ready or you want a continuance.
So, I'm thinking I may need to get counsel on this. Sounds like this may be something a little more serious. I don't really have any. I would need to maybe talk with someone. I have been talking to counsel, but I only got this notice within a week ago. Like you said, on the 15th is when I got notice of this. You know, and so I've
Right.
been speaking to someone, but I haven't been able to confirm it. They were out of town and whatnot. And so,
Okay.
you know,
So there's a request, and I kind of expected that a lot. You know, we do these things fast, as I said, and it's nobody's fault that he just got served a week ago. That was good. That was actually pretty impressive that it got done so quickly. But it's a fair request from Mr. Benbo to set this over for him to consider your petition, to potentially just figure out how he's going to respond to it and consult with counsel, which is really difficult usually within a week's time to find counsel to talk to. So that's the request. And so Ms. Harris, it's a fair request, but anything from you about that continuance request?
No.
Okay. So we're going to set another court date. Everyone, you don't have to serve anybody anymore. Everybody's going to have that court date today. And then that gives you time, Mr. Benbo and Ms. Harris, if there's any other information that you wanted to give the court. It sounds like you were ready, but it also gives you time.
Okay.
So looking to my clerk. Okay, so we're looking at, it's always on Monday mornings, and expect to spend your morning with us just in case. We're looking at the 5th, the 12th, Ms. Harris.
of August or
Of August.
Am I able to do the 12th?
Pardon?
Am I able to do the 12th?
Yep, we can do it Monday the 12th, Mr. Benbo, Monday the 12th.
Monday the 12th is okay.
Okay, we got a deal. So that's it. That's the notice. We're going to put in, do you usually put notice in the court file?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Benbo, you can access our court file with your Zoom instructions, if you're comfortable doing that. If not, contact the clerks. They can assist you there. You can come on in or however you want. But both of you can do that. And we're going to put a court notice in there. But you know right now, August 12th, 9 o'clock in the morning, be back. You can appear by Zoom. Ms. Harris, we're going to, if you'd like, hand you notice, a hard copy. Okay, we'll give you a hard copy. And then I suggest that before the 12th, so what I'd like to see is by the 5th of August, if there's any other information that you want to file with the court, get it in by the 5th, the week before, so that Monday before, so the court has time to look at it. And then the other side has a time to look at it. So both of you, by the 5th, whatever you're going to file with the court, get it in there.
But I have to have him served what I'm filing, or do I just get
No,
into the
because
court?
each of you can get into the court file
Okay.
now.
Okay.
So, and then each of you go look at the court file before the hearing on the 12th, so you're prepared for what the other side has presented, if there's anything.
Okay.
All right, so August 12th, 9 o'clock, and you can appear by Zoom or in person. It's up to either of you. So, Mr. Benbo, any question today?
No, I think that's it, Your Honor.
All right, so if you consult counsel, let them know about that date. And if you don't mind coming up here, Ms. Harris, and then that's it. You can be on your way, Mr. Benbow, but I need you for that other request you had, so don't go away.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. First things first, there's a request from Ms. Harris that the court issue an order against Mr. Benbow, and you've been served as of July 15th. And Ms. Harris, you're prepared to go forward to present your side why you should get this order?
Yes.
Okay, and you're still wanting that order?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Benbow, are you prepared to respond to Ms. Harris's request?
Yes.
Okay. Let me, and both of you should know I'm looking at back and forth here because our file is electronic. And so I'm listening. I'm just also looking at what's been filed. And so let me get that open here. Okay, so Ms. Harris, you made several allegations against Mr. Benbow. It's not clear when things happened. When's the most recent? You said the most recent when your phone was tapped or mirrored?
Correct.
Okay. And then when he assaulted you, is that when?
A couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago. Okay.
What I was doing is ask for a description. So I gave a description all the way up to the latest.
Yep, that's exactly what I just need to kind of narrow in on what's recent and what's not. So, and in your exhibits, I've got a statement here from Jacob Walden. which was signed under penalty of perjury. And is he available today by any chance?
No, he's not available today.
All right.
He just hit the statement.
Okay. All right. And maybe you can tell me then about why, I mean, kind of importantly, you're zeroing in on Mr. Benbo as to the person who's mirroring or tapping into your phone and seeing your location, attempting to email you. And you say you confronted him about a month ago, trying to make contact with someone else, and he shut the door and so maybe you can help me understand that most recent event, and then we can work backwards.
Oh, no, I didn't make contact with him with somebody else. It's him and another individual, and I found out there's more individuals involved. So it's a group of individuals.
Okay.
But Mr. Benbo was the one that made the statement of recording.
All right, because you said a month. I confronted him about a month ago.
Right.
Okay.
I came to his door and asked if he was trying to make contact with me.
Right. Okay. And so tell me about that event.
I pretty much showed up because he told me that if I ever wanted to talk to him, I could show up at his house. And so I did, because I got tired of weird things happening. Like, for example, he said he claimed he didn't have my number. And so he sent me through Cash App a comment of something about he had some type of treat for me. And I got that through my email, scogorbnana@gmail. That came in through there. I was going to print it out, but I figured it was irrelevant. But on my Cash App, he sent me a message through there, and I think it was $1. So you have to put in some type of money to be able to send a comment. And then I don't know if it's still there, but I was appalled that he would even come at me like that. I had not had contact with him for a long time before that even happened. Now I'm starting to get weird emails, subliminal emails. I think I even put it in the description of certain emails that I was getting where they're either a comment being made or it's some type of weird scam spoof where if you click on it, I guess my information goes to whomever it is that's on that email. Things have been just crazy since then. I'm even having issues at my job now. And it's specifically me. It's not happening to no other employee. We've had to have that escalated to try to track who's doing it. And then I ironically spoke to an attorney. The attorney told me I had to escalate it and to file some type of, what is it called? Scam or fraud, because it's happening to my phone, it's happening to my computer, and it's going overboard. I don't see the point of doing this other than, is this to make contact with me to see where I'm going, who I'm talking to? There's things that I didn't know in the past. I don't know if those things are still going on, but I figured it's none of my business. It has nothing to do with me. As long as it doesn't affect me, I don't care what each individual does and what they're a part of.
So how long have you known Mr. Benbo?
At that time, I think it was only a few months.
Okay, so when you filed this, you mean?
When I filed this, is actually, time has lapsed. It's been a couple of years now.
Okay. And so when did you stop having any kind of contact with him or desiring not to have contact with him?
After sexual assault, when that happened.
And that was?
A couple of years ago.
Okay, so soon after you got to know Mr. Benbo, then you said, I don't want anything to do with you.
Right.
Okay. And then, so that would have been 2022.
Correct.
Sometime. You filed this in, just trying to generally, it doesn't have to, file this in July. So sometime summer of 2022. And then,
he popped up. It was the weirdest thing. He popped up on the side of the highway. He rolled his window down. He had his cell phone out.
When was this?
This was not too long after, let me see. Probably, I want to say maybe a year after that happened.
Okay, so
it's weird. He pops up.
2023.
He just pops up and does stuff. I'm not sure what the point of that was. I had to call my neighbor. He's the one that I was going to have as a witness, but he's still gone. He's on vacation. And I ended up placing a 911 call, but my phone number has changed since then. I was going to change it again, but I'm realizing it seems like no matter what I do, whoever it is going to figure out my phone number's changed where I'm at. So I figured that it was suggested to file harassment. So I've been waiting for the detective to call. It's been hard to get phone calls because it seems like when I think I'm talking to a specific person, I'm talking to the scammer because there's new AI technology. People are disguising their voices.
So you're working with law enforcement right now to gather
I was
information?
attempting to, but it seems like there's interference with that.
All right. So the issue, all right, so about a year passes and then you say Mr. Benbo pops up on the freeway doing what?
He pulls over. My RV is literally, at that time you could used to see it right off the highway. So you just pull off on the exit of Nisqually and my RV is right there on the corner. For some reason or another, he pulled off, rolls his window down, sticks his phone up. I don't know if he's recording or if he's actually taking a photo, but he sees me. I wave my hand for my neighbor. My neighbor stops and he sees him recording. He suggests I call 911, so I call 911. Right before they could actually dispatch the police, he pulls off.
All right, so then since that event, we're here about a year later, what's been going on?
It's been constant just harassment of the emails. Somebody's been going through my emails. Why, I'm not sure. Phone calls, my phone's being tapped. I've traded in my vehicle 3 times this year. I've had 3 different vehicles because they tap into the GPS part just to see where I'm at. It's the same thing with my cell phone. My phone's been mirrored where if I try to enter something in, I could see on the background, somebody's like trying to tap in and figure out what I'm doing.
All right. And you say it's been continuous, you mean like just since for the last year or just?
I have a feeling it's been ongoing and I'm just realizing it's within the last year, things have escalated.
Okay. And then how do you attribute this to Mr. Benbo?
Specific things that he's been spoken of in the past of recording. That's his biggest thing is recording.
And so in the past,
he's messed with my phone. I had him saved as I believe Chaos. I think I saved him as Chaos. And unbeknownst to me, when my back was turned, he turned around and he saved it as, I guess, Mr. Good Dick or something like that. So he has access and he's shown that he's had access. It's a matter of how much access does he have.
Okay. So changing, I think you wrote about that. Let me get to that. So I see if I have some questions here.
Why you would go through somebody's phone without permission, I have no idea. But
and that was back in 2022.
Correct.
Okay. But that's what makes you think, is there anything else that makes you think it's Mr. Benbo?
How he had popped up.
How he had popped up off the freeway?
In the past, correct.
Okay, popped up in person.
He physically popped up in his vehicle. He has I don't know about now, but I know he had a Hyundai at that time, a 4-door Hyundai.
Was there other times that he popped up?
If he did, it was unbeknownst to me. I wasn't aware.
Yeah, but all right. Okay, so his, I'm a little confused though. Changing his contact information or something else from Chaos to something else?
He's good at disguising his name. I've talked to him about his name in the past. When I originally met him, he said his name was Jay. And he made a comment of where there's a lot of Jays out there. But the reason why I found out his real name was because he invited me to his house and I saw a piece of mail of his. It was sitting on a table and it said drawn Benbo. And there's certain information he wouldn't volunteer, but I just ended up finding out in certain ways. So that's how I found out his full name. He never volunteered it. He just said that his name is Jay and that there's a lot of Jays out there. So I'm assuming he goes by JB and other names in case something happens. It's hard to find him.
Okay.
Hard to identify him.
So then in your petition, attempt with emails as well, different ones, generated like Karate Kid.
And part of his name drawn.
Okay, I see. It's in there. So you're concerned that in 22 that he had changed his contact information in your phone? Is that what it was?
That I know for a fact that's what he did.
Okay, that's what that was. All right. That makes more sense to me now. All right. And then this information about, I'm a little confused. So about a month ago after in June, trying to make contact with a woman, Brandy, who
I confronted him and asked him who Brandy was. Because
Mr.
it was an ironic thing that I had stayed at a hotel And I was wall to wall, I was room to room next to her. He was messing with her, but he was messing with me. And she confronted me about a incident that had happened. And unbeknownst to me, she's connected to him.
Okay.
He was messing with her and he was messing with me at the same time.
All right.
And she confronted me.
All right.
I guess she goes by a possible different name too, but I knew her as Brandy because it popped up as Brandy in my phone when we had contact.
Okay. That's my
She
next
has
question.
a married name or a maiden name or a hyphenated name.
All right. Let's try and see if I have any more questions. I'm just gonna, before I turn to Mr. Benbo and just re-reviewing everything you filed here. Anything else before I turn to Mr. Benbo?
Not that I can think of right now.
Okay, and I'll be kind of looking over the top of your head, so don't be
Okay.
surprised.
Okay.
All right, so Mr. Benbo, what's your response to this request for a restraining order or protection order?
I am just learning of all this information, as a result of hearing it here in the hearing. I didn't know any of this stuff before, so I don't agree. I mean, it's I'm not involved with any of those things. I don't pull over on freeways and record anybody, nothing like that. I haven't been in contact with Miss Harris for years. She mentioned she showed up at my house maybe about 2 months ago. I've never mentioned to her that she could just show up at my house if she wants to anytime and don't have to call or something. Never said that. I've had the same phone number now for over maybe close to 20 years, so anyone can call me. Is nothing if they want to get a hold of me. When she did show up here at my house, which was totally strange, caught me off guard because that's not something we do or that I was okay with her doing. She rang the doorbell about 20 times. Which I thought it was some emergency going. I thought maybe it was a neighbor in need of just choking or something, distressed or something, because it was that crazy. I never heard my doorbell operate like that before. So I hurry up and I go to the front and I peeked through the glass just because I just wanted to see what was going on before I opened it up. And I saw it was her. And I thought, okay, well, let me open the door and see what this is about. I opened the door and she just starts going off about things that I never heard of before in my life. And at first, I thought maybe she was kidding. I thought maybe she was joking around, trying to be funny or something. And then, when I was like, no, I was like, hello, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a long time. Hello. And then she's like she said, do you know Brandy or something like that? And I said, I don't know her. I don't know who you're talking about or nothing like that. She started talking about some other stuff. And my son was home at the time. And so, and she was getting loud and whatnot. And so I told her, I said, if you're going to be getting loud, you're going to have to, you're going to leave. I'm going to close the door. I'm going to call the police or something, but you can't be ever being loud on my porch. And so that went on, I don't know, about 2 minutes or so. That was the last contact within the last, maybe say 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years easy that we've had any contact at all was when she showed up at my door about 2 months ago, being kind of very distraught. Like maybe she was having, some sort of crisis episode is what I end up thinking what was going on. And so I'm okay continuing to have no contact with her. I don't have any other emails or whatever, contacting her via email or phone or nothing like that. I don't do any of that. I'm not, so.
Right. So you were given notice of all this information by Pierce County Sheriff when they served you July 15th. That's the affidavit I had, that you were given the petition notice of this hearing, and that's declaration of James Walden. That's the Pierce County Sheriff affidavit, said that you were handed that July 15th. When you said this is the first you heard about it, I'm all puzzled.
That's what I mean. I mean, as a result of being served this document a couple weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was my first hearing about it. And then, of course, attending the hearing and hearing, the details from being present in the hearing.
Okay. All right, good. Right. If I have any questions for you, just give me a moment.
Never assaulted her, nothing like that. Just want to get that for me. Never done nothing like that.
So any comment on this declaration from a Jacob Walden that you received?
So I don't know him. And I can also say I'm no technical guru to be able to hack in people's phones or track them via email or GPS or any of that stuff. I know nothing of that. barely can operate. I mean, I don't know anything of that. I don't, and so I feel if that stuff is happening to her, I wish her the best that stuff gets resolved and she figure out, and hopefully none of that continues to happen to her, because I wouldn't want that happening to nobody. I have nothing to do with that. Zero, not one iota of anything at all. I know nothing about it. I don't know how to do it. I don't even talk to her. Nothing to do with me whatsoever. Zero.
All right.
I object to that, Your Honor. Him and I had a conversation about recording.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
I'll come back to you, but I just want to finish with Mr. Benbo.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Benbo? I'm just going to jump back to Ms. Harris real quick, see if there's any clarification.
No, that's it.
Okay. All right. So Ms. Harris, anything on what Mr. Benbo said?
I don't agree with his comment about he doesn't know anything about recording and how to do it. When I was helping him with his Airbnb, he invited me out to help him with his Airbnb. And he made a comment that there should be a recording of how I talk, is what he said. He said, because I can say something and forget what I say. And so I said, you know what? I said, if that's how you feel, I said, you have my permission to record. It was just that one time he could record me. And he ended up recording me, Your Honor, and he played back something specifically to me. And so I said, okay. I said, if that's how you feel and that's what you're going to do, then I'm going to record too. And I had Marco Polo at the time and was recording something specifically that he said that he would forget about. And when I played it back, I think he was shocked that I actually recorded him and placed back something specific. I don't have Marco Polo now, but I did at that time. And he was shocked that I recorded him and played back something specifically that he said.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm not issuing this order, and this is the reason why. I have to be able to find by a legal standard, which isn't met here, that Mr. Benbo is behind the things that are happening to you electronically. And I can't find by that legal standard that that's happening, that he is the person doing these things. And therefore, I can't find that he's the one who's knowingly and willfully conducting a course of conduct to harass you. And so I can't issue the order under the law. So, Mr. Benbo, you've heard it. Ms. Harris, you heard Mr. Benbo too. He said he's not going to contact you, but I think you've heard no contact is wanted, and I don't know what to tell you, Ms. Harris. If there's further things going on, it's probably going to require your some sort of investigation by the folks at your work that know what they're doing.
They're already on it.
Okay. And then, I can't really tell you, but it would have to be someone. Unfortunately, I appreciate that there was this statement by Mr. Walden, but I can't put really anything, take it, because I don't have him here to adjudge his credibility, to adjudge, more importantly, his expertise in the area, such that he knows what he's talking about.
I understand.
So that doesn't get us anywhere. So, Mr. Benbo, then there's no order issued, but obviously you both have said you don't want anything to do with each other. So leave it there. So that's all for today, Ms. Harris, Mr. Benbo. Any questions, Mr. Benbo?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Harris, anything?
No, like I said before, in the very beginning, when we first had this conversation, I'm just putting it in here. So when something comes up in the future, it's already noted in the system under my name, under his name, and the other individual's name.
Yeah. All right.
But it's already been escalated. So,
okay.
Thank you.
All right. You can be on your way, and you can leave the meeting, Mr. Benbo.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. So it's now 9:22. And we're taking up your Ms. Harris. You've asked for an order, court to consider issuing an order against Mr. Dixon, 24-234, Daniel Dixon Jr. I see he was served on the 18th. Let me get I'm looking at this other screen because our files are electronic. So
okay.
I am paying attention. Let me get to that file. So I do have proof of service. I remember now from Tacoma Police from July 18th on Mr. Daniel Dixon Jr. And the court did not issue an order based on that petition to begin with, but set this hearing. And let me just re-review Where we were on that one, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Thanks. So I re-reviewed your petition, and I didn't see, was there anything else that you filed before today that I should consider? I didn't see anything.
No.
Okay. And it looks like there was an assault of you a couple of years ago.
Yes.
And then, but I can't figure out what you're saying recently happened that caused you to come to court. Which one of these? Because you didn't give me.
I'm being harassed
dates.
via my email, my personal phone, and now it's my work phone.
So when did all this happen? Is the problem. I can't. Was this recent?
I noticed that things have been happening for over probably last couple to a few months,
Okay.
but this may have been happening over the last couple of years. And I'm just now being aware of the extent of things that are going on.
Okay.
I traded in the vehicle that I had before the one I have now because the GPS on there kept changing. And I was told to go to T-Mobile to have them attach my phone to something to see if I had any type of like spyware or something on there. They couldn't figure out what was going on, but they said as far as they knew, they couldn't find anything.
So why do you
But then I
say?
went to T-Mobile and I talked to the manager, and the manager he said, look, there's a couple of things that could be it. Could be a device that somebody, some way, somehow
That's
got
Mr. Walden?
Probably both of them because they've done it before.
Well,
is the thing.
okay. So the problem, all right, let me ask you.
Or it could be a
why,
computer that they attached to my
why
phone
do you
to.
say that this is Mr. Daniel Dixon Jr.? What do
I had a conversation with him,
yeah.
and I wanted to record something. And as I was talking to him, I went to press something on my phone, and then he went and he pressed something to undo what I did on my phone. So there's some type of device or something that's linked.
So you're on the phone with him,
right,
on your cell phone,
right?
And when was this?
This was a couple of years ago.
Okay, so what about recently?
Recently, when I have my phone, I literally have it where it's face recognition. It tries to force me to not use my face. I have to put in a code. And I noticed when I put my code in, I could see somebody mirroring it on the background where they see my code, they put it in. I go to check my messages and I can't even get my messages. My text messages are supposed to be up. They don't come up. So somebody's receiving it on the back end. Okay. When I talked to the manager said it could be a couple of things. Either there's a device that's attached to my phone or somebody is able to do the VPN or I think it's called the IMEI. They are able to like mirror my phone. Yeah. Or it's, what was the other thing that he said? There was something else that he said. Oh, somebody may have a Mac computer and they're able to like log in using my Apple information, which I don't know anybody that has it. But he said if a person really wants to, they can get on the backside of the internet, which is called the dark web, where they run your phone number and then like all your information can come up. Okay. And I didn't even know a person could do stuff like that. Yeah. But it's weird because if I tried to go and like look at something, for example, like I was trying to shop and I was on I think it's called Safari on my phone. I'm scrolling up and then somebody's trying to like swipe. They want to see what I'm doing. My text messages, it's the same thing. They want to see who I'm talking to. I try to use my GPS. They showed me how to turn off it's called Find Your iPhone. Yep. I had to turn that off because whoever it was trying to see where I'm going. And it makes no sense. And so finally I told my manager, I said, I have weird stuff going on my phone. Is there a way I can use my work phone? Because my work phone's an iPhone. And he said there's certain things I cannot do, but as long as it is within, the company, reason I can use it. Now my work phone, I showed him on my work phone. He's like, if we have to get you another phone, we'll get you another phone. Okay. He thinks that's weird, but to me, that's a little going overboard.
Well, all right. And so a couple of years ago, you thought, or you knew, or how did you determine it was Mr. Dixon or Mr. Dixon?
I knew it was Mr. Dixon because like I said, we had a FaceTime conversation and I went to go try to record something to see if it would work. And when I hit record, he goes and I see him hitting something on his side that hit unrecord on my side.
All right. So you've seen this for the last 2 years?
He has some weird device. No, I thought that was the end of it. I didn't think anything else would happen. Had a conversation with him after that. And I was like, well, what's going on? I was like, are we supposed to be having a beef? Are we supposed to be fighting or something? He was like, no. Okay. But then I said to him, it doesn't make sense why certain things are going on. And he said the person that he had a conversation with was not available. he said that person, I guess, was like gone out of town or something. And I thought it would stop then because he said he would have a conversation with that person. He had his kids at the time. And so I was like, okay, well, he's going to have a conversation with whoever. I don't know if that person has anything to do with this. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I know he is the main one that started it all.
He knows about it.
Right. He knows
So
about it.
when was that you talked to him?
I think that was a few months after that happened.
Okay. A couple
And
years
then it
ago
happened
or less.
again. It's almost like every few months. So that's when I'm like trying to think far back. Is this when it all started?
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense. Like we don't talk like that. We don't have sex. We don't do the things we used to do.
Yeah.
Like our friendship has changed. And it's similar thing with Mr. Benbo.
Well, all right. So Mr. Dixon, then I'm hearing what you're saying, and this is the problem is the law may not have caught up with all this, but I have to find to a certain legal standard to narrow in on him doing these things
I get it.
now. And so I'm asking all these questions.
No, I understand.
So all right. I believe everything you're saying, and I know that this sort of thing can happen, and I've heard it going through all this,
Well, I thought
not
it was
just you, but other cases.
Had I have did this probably a couple of years back,
Mhm.
it probably been nipped in the butt.
Mhm.
I thought everybody's moved on with their life. I moved on, they moved on. Apparently not. Because just I think this was a couple of months ago. And that's when Mr. Benbo mentioned how I showed up.
Mhm.
I actually went to his job and had a conversation with him.
Mhm.
And I said, you know,
Mr.
what's
Dixon or Mr. Benbo?
with Mr. Dixon. I went
Okay.
to his job, had a conversation with him because that's the only way I can really get in touch with him.
Mhm.
At first we exchanged numbers, but then I took his number out. I said, because it doesn't make sense for me to have his phone number
Mhm.
and try to forgive if this is still going on.
Yeah.
I don't understand. If you're sorry about something, then be apologetic. Let's be fair about it, move on. But when it comes to a harassing of checking my emails, my phone to see where I'm at, that makes me feel he's worried about something.
Yeah.
Somebody is worried about something being brought up. And so therefore they want to know where I'm at. So it was suggested to me after I leave here to go get a license to carry and to go get a gun, just in case something happens.
Yeah.
Or to get a protection order. And I don't know what else to do other than this was what was suggested.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the problem is narrowing this in on one person.
I get it.
having, and I don't know how to, and I don't know if
That's why I feel like
Verizon
I'm
or
stuck in a
T-Mobile,
loophole.
right? I'm hearing you because how do you narrow this in on who's doing this?
Right.
Because if it could be narrowed in, then it would, I
It would
think,
be
match
easier.
up RCW
Right.
and yeah.
When I talked to
Yeah.
the detective who actually called me, I said, well, do you want my phone so that way you guys can like figure it out? And he said, well, let's do this first. He suggested I come do this.
Yeah. Well, and I think you're going to probably meet with the detective again. I'm sorry and that's the problem. You know, the law is sort of behind and still requires me to find a legal standard that, I mean, I can suppose, and I think, you know, maybe, but it has to be a little higher than that.
I get it.
So I can't issue this order against Mr. Dixon.
That's fine. At least I
But
have something
there
on
may
file.
be-
That's what I was told.
Yeah, and there may be more that folks who are, well, you're talking to law enforcement, they're kind of getting real skookum on this kind of activity.
Mhm.
And if there's maybe T-Mobile or whoever you're working with, Verizon, T-Mobile,
Yes.
yeah, then maybe there's something they can do to help narrow in on who's doing this. I don't know.
They suggest that I change my password, and I've done that many times. And
Yeah,
whoever it is sees that I'm changing the password, so they know the new passwords.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah,
I've even gone to the point of I want to change my phone number, but I feel like if they're using the dark web to see my name and the phone number attached, they're going to get that regardless. So I'm trying to figure out how can I protect myself? What can I do?
yeah. But I
Because it
get
seems like no matter what is suggested that I do,
Yeah.
they figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I just know that this is where I'm stuck. So, all right. So what happens now on the Dixon matter is it ends today unless there's, more
Okay.
information to narrow in on who's doing this. And it really points to Mr. Dixon. Courts, would certainly consider that. And you're not prevented from refiling, referring back to this information and then whatever new that really focuses in, but it's going to take somebody who understands all of this to find a way to whoever's doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Good
that's
point,
it on this
Mr.
one, but we will be back on August 12th to talk about Mr. Benbo's, the petition against Mr. Benbo.
Okay.
And you got that notice.
Yes, I have that.
And so that's it for today.
All right. Thank
Sorry.
you. No, you're good. Thank you.
Right.
Yes, I do.
All right. And Patrick Ward, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right. So we're here on, there's temporary order issued against Mr. Wilkes, and I see that he was not served unless you've got something that shows me you're able to get him notice at today's hearing? No, not yet.
No.
All right. So a couple of directions. You could either just say we're done and it would be dismissed, or we could set this to another day to give you more time to serve him notice and then have a full hearing.
Yeah, on July 5th, the police, Tomato Police and Olympia Police served a warrant at his residence. He wasn't there, and since he's disappeared from, and we don't have an address.
Okay, so
We're trying, police said they are looking for him, and then we talked to some process servers until we can find an address. for him.
okay, so you're asking the court to send another court
Yes,
date,
please.
give you more time to serve him notice.
Right.
Is that
So
right?
they told us once they need at least 3 months when they go off the radar. That it takes about 3 months for them to reappear. So the servers have asked us to wait 3 months because he doesn't have a current address.
Yeah, 3 months is a bit long
It's a bit
for
long.
this
Yeah,
court,
yeah,
but
so-
I could set this out a month and we'll see where we
Okay,
are.
that would
And
be
work
wonderful.
with the process servers, work with law enforcement, whatever you want to do.
Okay,
There's
And
police looking for him. There's another person looking for him for theft.
yeah, I
So-
can see, there's several warrants, one out of Dixon County, this county, and Olympia. So if we set this, the big, where are we today? July 22nd. So late August, early September, whatever. We're not, do we have a holiday? Are we doing something today? September? Yeah. Yeah. Let's set September, whatever that day is, September 3rd. It's going to be a Tuesday because the holiday's on Monday, so it's going to be Tuesday, September 3rd, 9 o'clock. If you need to look at your calendars, you
Would the
can.
Monday after the holiday, would that be possible?
The 9th,
Yes.
that works. Okay, we can do September 9th. Let me just write up this order. So the order that was issued temporary continues until the end of that hearing. And September 9th, 9 o'clock, expect to spend the morning. And all right, we're gonna, what this order is, just reissues the temporary restraining order, sets the court date. So now what you got, we'll have a new service packet for you. I'm just gonna email it or. Okay. So how do you feel about getting that service packet by email?
Fine.
You're good with
Yes.
that, or you can pick it up at the office? Do we have
It's good.
anybody here
did you want to
today? No, because he's gone. Chase is gone this week.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you good with email of that?
Yes.
Okay, so what's gonna come to you is the petition that you wrote, that has to go to him. The order that was issued, and then this new order that sets the new court date.
Okay, so if we leave here and go over to Thurston County, because we're
At
going
the
to
sheriff?
the sheriff
Yeah,
here. And
go
see
ahead.
if they can process this.
Go
and
ahead.
serve. We could just take this information directly over there. Or do we-
Right.
We can't,
The
okay.
service packet, though, they're gonna need the petition. Yeah, you won't have the full packet.
Okay.
unless you put it
So we
together.
probably,
We can come back.
we can come back.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you can just wait for email.
Okay,
Because
thank you.
anyway, I think, are they still over here
Email's
for
good.
service, or is it across the freeway? Come on up and get that.
They're
There's, yeah, they've got 2 offices
Okay.
now, so I didn't know where. So we'll get it out this afternoon. Okay, great, yep,
I should have everything. Is that right about your last?
Yes.
good. All right, so looks like we've got, let me get my information up here. It's all electronic. That's why I'm looking at something else, but I am listening. Give me a moment. All right, so have you been able to get information to Mr. Haas to tell him about today's hearing?
He read the paper that I was given, we was served, the temporary custody or the temporary. And, well, he laid it on the bench and left, but he should know.
Do you have, who did that?
My friend and the manager of the building, that's the manager where I live.
All right, so I need some corroborating documentation, either those people in court that I can put under oath and ask them questions about how they served him, what they served him, when they served him, or a legal document under oath that tells me all that, and I don't have that.
Would you like me to call them?
Well,
I could try to call him.
now's the time. So it sounds like, are you still interested in this order against Mr. Haas?
I would like a lifetime one if I could, yes.
Okay. So we're gonna have to set another court date and you're gonna have to get him served and then documentation, either, law enforcement does service and they know how to do what an affidavit of service. You can have family or friend do this like you did, but they've got to file a legal document or be in court and I can put them under oath and hear what they did and see if it's sufficient. Or you can hire a company that does this sort of work. But I don't have proof that he was given notice at today's date, so I can't issue an order in his absence. But I can keep this no contact order going until the next court date, give you time to get him notice and get that information into the court. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so well, we're gonna pick a date here. Sounds like you know where he is. He's
No,
still
well, I don't know where, because I think he's homeless now.
no longer a neighbor.
No,
Okay.
thank goodness.
All right. So what we'll do is we get a couple, 3 weeks, give you to see what you can do and trying to see which agency is this. So City of Olympia Police that you're working with, that you called. You can simply ask them to see what they can do to help you with this too. It'll cost you some money though, is the issue.
So if I have somebody serve him, all they need to do is what? Because I don't have money to pay anybody.
Okay. Well, I guess it's something to think about. How important is this to you to get it done right? And so you make that decision. But do we have a form here for pro se service?
Yeah, it's just a certificate.
And it's all right. So what I'm going to do is give you a blank, we call it a proof of service. And that's what the people who do this for you have to sign off on, and it has to be filed with the court on the court date or before the court date.
No, this paper that you're gonna be, I told you he was served already. Can those people sign it?
Because now the court date's going to be different.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to pick that court date today. All right. Hang on a second. I've got an order to do. What date are we going to set? The 12th, maybe? I think August 12th. Gives her 3 weeks. Person, if you don't ask law enforcement, I mean, I just want you to ponder that, where do you want to put your money and how important is this? Because it has to get done right and law enforcement knows how to do it and businesses know how to do it. But if you have a family or a friend do it, who will not be called to testify about the substance of this, their only service, they don't know anything about what you're asking the court to do and wouldn't give any evidence as to that. They're going to have to give all of the paperwork that you filed with the court. We're going to give you what we call a service packet, and that whole thing needs to be provided to Mr. Haas. And the person who does it has to be clear all the documents in this order, what they gave Mr. Haas, when they gave it to him, how they gave it to him, so then I look at it and I see Mr. Haas got this, this, and this, and this, and he got it on this day. And this person signed it under penalty of perjury, and it's all in line so we can accept it and say, yep, he's not here. We can go forward in his absence because he decided not to be here, because I know he knows about the hearing and about what you're saying. So that's why it's really important. So are we going to email? Did we get your email? Is that a good way?
But I'm unable to get any of my emails right now because I use my phone. And it's not, no, I have no idea.
All right. Do you want to stop at the counter this morning and get that service packet or come back later? Okay.
Bring it back later today?
Or can they handle it this morning?
Yeah, they can absolutely.
All right. You can stop at the counter this morning and they'll pull it together for you.
Okay.
And then you'll have the service packet and then you decide who's going to serve it for you. So why don't you come up here? This is the new order that, continues the temporary restraining order and sets a new court date for that August date. And then the other, I just gave you a copy of the proof of service. One of those is the proof of service. It says up on the right-hand corner there, at the top next to your name. I think maybe the one in there, does that say proof of service there? Here, let me help you. So there it is, proof of service up here. You see that?
No.
There's a cause number. It says proof of service right on
Oh,
the right
I'm
hand.
looking
There
for
you go.
something.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
not retarded, I promise.
No, I know. It's the way we do things. It's odd if
Oh,
you're
it's your
not used to
fault.
it. It's our fault. So that is that document that needs to come back, and it's pretty particular. So it tells whoever serves it has to really fill it out right. That's why I'm wondering if this is important to you. You may want to think about having law enforcement or a business do it because they know what they're doing. But someone can, we do this all the
when you say
time.
law enforcement.
So if Olympia is where you live and that's the police department, you call for help and you go to them and you say, I've got this stuff that needs to go to Mr. Haas. And they figure it out. And then you check back with them before the hearing and say, is it done? Do you have proof that it was done? And they'll give you something, an affidavit, or they'll hand you that, or they may even file it with the court on their own. I'm not sure if they will do that, but that's how that would work.
Okay, I'm not gonna hard. I tried to get police to serve them before.
Mhm.
The sheriff's office, they wouldn't.
Well, it has to be in the right jurisdiction. So if you're in the city of Olympia and if you call City of Olympia
Right
police,
downtown.
yeah, so it would be City of Olympia. So then just go to the police department downtown on 4th, I think it is, and then just go to the public window and say, I need to get this stuff to Mr. Haas, and they'll know what to do next with it. And then check back before the hearing to make sure it's done and see if they've got documents to tell you it was done, and either bring those to the hearing or maybe they file them. I'm not sure what Olympia does.
Okay.
All right. So
Thank
that's
you
your
very much.
mission.
And so the next hearing is written here.
It's August 12th, I think we chose. It's right right on the one in your right hand, there. It says August 12th on the front.
My right, left hand.
Okay, so that one right there, it says August 12th. You see that? 9 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay. And you can come in person, you can come in Zoom, whatever works for you. All right.
So if I have papers, you should have them already, huh?
I don't know. You'd have to file them, or
You should
Olympia.
have them.
I might not. It's up to you to make sure it gets to the court. Put it that
Okay.
way. All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. See ya.